What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Wednesday. Per usual, this is our Bachelor recap. We've been talking for the past hour just as good old pals, and just like we forgot to do the podcast. It's like we've just been talking and talking and talking. It's time to do our show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to it.
We love talking about nonsense.
It's
love
true.
it. I could talk about nonsense all day long. Just
Same.
with everyone. But yeah, you're right. It's time to get into our show. We got our Bachelor recap. We also have an interview with Hannah and Paige from Summer House. They're going to be on the second half of this podcast. It's a little kind of TV just extravaganza. We've been very into Summer House. We're talking about the last episode, so we want you guys to hear that interview before a new episode of Summer House airs, and you don't know what we're talking about. So this will be about the last episode, and we'll talk about Monday's episode of The Bachelor. Look, The Bachelor. Sometimes I forget what season. I feel like I should be saying Bachelorette, but it's The Bachelor, and it's not.
Sometimes I don't know until Rhea says it the first time. When
Yeah.
she's like, it is today, we're doing our Bachelor recap. I was like, all right, I remember where we're at now.
They all flowed into one, so it's very confusing. But obviously, it's been a hectic, wild week.
Yeah.
In Bachelor Nation. Chris Harrison stepping aside, just a lot of things going on. But the show went on. They aired the show like they planned to do. I was wondering if we were going to get a statement from ABC like before the show started. I feel like they were going to put like a black screen of some sort with a statement, or what were they going to do? I think everyone was wondering that. They didn't address it at all. I think they're probably going to address it, though, after the final rose, or, the woman tell all. Everything's been taped at this point.
Right.
So I feel like they will have to address it live on the TV show.
I don't
think it's pretty fucked up if they just don't say anything
absolutely.
about it.
If they just
But you're right,
skated by and they
I
didn't mention it, that would be...
Right, I would be very surprised if they mentioned it before that, though.
Right.
I think with the episodes that have been taped, they're just going to let those run.
Yep.
And then they're going to talk about it after the final rose.
Yeah, because there will be obviously a glaring difference in the fact that Chris Harrison will not be hosting the After the Final Rose. They already filmed the Women Tell All with him, so I feel like that'll probably stay the same. And then the live show will be different. So it's been a crazy week. Everybody's talking about it. It's all over the news. It's all anybody can talk about. Like, I feel like I have talked about this for a week straight. Ray and I talked about it extensively on our previous episodes, and we're going to talk about this episode. It felt kind of weird watching it, but it's because the timelines are all crazy, right? Like, we're living now, and these things are happening now, but we're watching a show that's like almost helping us understand how we got to now. It's been filmed already. And if we do see Matt pick Rachel, a lot of all this shit's going to make more sense. If he does pick Rachel, it's going to be like, all right, well, maybe this is why Chris Harrison went so hard to defend her.
Right.
Because they were trying to save their relationship, or try and make the show look like it was still a love story type thing. So
right. And if you want to know our thoughts on everything, we already discussed it in our last podcast on Monday. I know people who may be listening to this recap who don't listen to our other episodes or whatever it may be. So if you want to hear our thoughts on it, listen to Monday's episode, because we talk thoroughly about what happened with Chris Harrison, Rachel, the other Rachel, and all of that. But Fran, you're right. Like, I think a lot of people at this point, we see Rachel's making it to hometowns, and people have this feeling that Rachel's going to win, because why else would they be going so hard for this girl?
And not at the Women Tell All.
And she's not at the Women Tell All. There's all these signs. And I think, and I said this on Cutting Stems as well, I think what The Bachelor and ABC thought that they had planned for this season went completely out the window. It was completely thrown in the garbage, because obviously everything that came out about Rachel K and everything that Chris Harrison said and did, if Rachel now wins, where do they go from there, right? Does Matt James stay with Rachel? How do they navigate this situation if she wins? It's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of this show plays out. Now, do we hope she wins? Absolutely not. There are three other fantastic girls on the show that I think deserve to win. But all signs are pointing to it being Rachel.
I'd be stunned if Rachel didn't win.
Me too.
Yeah, I think so.
Stunned.
Me too.
For Chris Harrison in that interview to say some of those things, and then for her to just be, make it to the final three, final two, that would be stunning.
especially, and we talked about this, Rhea, if ABC, we don't know what happened. We don't know if ABC told Rachel she wasn't allowed to speak, or they advised her not to speak, and maybe she could have, but they said, hey, maybe don't, like, and she, she didn't, because it went on for so long without her saying anything, where that makes more sense to me that she would either win or be at the end where they're like, hey, maybe don't talk about this now. Because it's like, if she had just been sent home, like, Victoria, her mugshot goes viral.
Yeah.
They put her on Good Morning America. Like, I know, obviously, this is a much more serious situation.
It's a much larger issue.
Right.
Victoria's mugshot wasn't even an issue.
No, that was like, people laughed that off. This is a totally different ballgame. This is something that the franchise has been struggling with for a long time now, and they keep putting out these messages and these statements of how they're going to change and fix these things, and this still happens on this show. So it's like, okay, if they told her not to speak, if that's really what happened, it does seem like she would be there at the end.
Yeah.
So
it's fucked up.
It's
All
a mess.
of it is
It's a mess.
It's a
up.
mess.
Yeah.
It's an
But let's get
absolute-
into the
right,
episode
right.
from
It's
this
an
week, because a
absolute
lot
mess.
happened.
I know.
The show's still going on.
The show is still going on. We're still, it's like, I said this, it's just like there's this weird feeling over the rest of the season now, kind of.
Yeah.
And you are watching, and it's like, okay, we're watching all this. This has been filmed already. Obviously, now everything's changed. Like, Chris Harrison was in the episode. It's like it's almost like jolting.
You're frightened.
You're
by seeing.
just like, okay, it's crazy. Your emotions have just changed so much around watching the show. But Matt, we picked up right where we left off, and it was like, all right, we're back in this. Here's Heather.
Yeah. I will say, when I saw
Here's
Heather, I was
Heather.
like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we just went through a crazy week, and then
Yeah.
it's like, by the way, here's Heather. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, we really are. We're just back in the show.
Yeah, exactly. So, Heather, she comes to talk to Matt. Matt says that, he's surprised to see her. They haven't met before, but Hannah had told Heather that they would be a great fit, so here she is with this appearance. She goes to talk to the girls, and the girls ripped her a new asshole. These girls laid into her so hard that she, like, immediately started crying. And all of a sudden, after ripping on Heather all season, being like, oh, Heather's coming, we all kind of felt bad for Heather.
Can I just say quickly
absolutely.
before we dive into the whole we feel bad for Heather thing? Matt James said, he repeated to Heather, we've never met each other.
Right.
And I had this laugh and whatever. And he laughs at everything, so of course you don't take it too
But then
seriously.
he said they did
but he
meet.
said they
Yeah.
did meet
Yeah.
in an interview.
Uh-huh.
He said that they met prior,
Oh, yep.
but there was nothing between them. So now I have a little issue with the lying. Just get your story straight, right? Like, if
Right.
you met before, fine. You guys had nothing. People meet all the time and they have nothing. I believe you. But why lie and say that you never met before on the show? That was
Producers,
Yeah.
I think, were whispering shit in their ears for this Heather situation. Heather, you gotta act like you just came here. Oh, I booked the red eye all on my own, is what she said. Like, you gotta act like this was all
and
you.
when you have to say you booked something all on your own, like,
yeah, I
don't-
booked a red eye all by myself.
yeah, we all do that. No,
Yeah.
like, we're all
Yeah.
adults here.
It
Like,
does, I guess it does hit a little bit harder if they do say, like, we've never met before, but I had this feeling that I
Right.
wanted to meet you. But it's funny that you say that, Ray, because when he said that last night, and I had not seen or heard that interview, it just felt like a lie. I was like, if Hannah and Matt are so close, and Matt and Heather and Matt are close, or I thought they would have met at some point. So just when he said that, I figured that they had met before, but I didn't know that he had
yeah,
actually
he was
said
like,
it.
oh, hello, Heather Martin, who I've never
Yeah.
met before or
Yeah.
seen in person.
Yeah.
It's like, you're lying right now.
Yeah.
You're lying. But as for feeling bad for Heather, I think that everyone had the same reaction when she first came in, that we all thought it was bizarre. It's 6
Yeah.
weeks in. Why is Heather showing up? Why are they putting on this fake charade of her pretending like she booked this all by herself and decided it was her idea to come join Matt's journey?
Yeah.
We all know that that's not the case. But we were all like shitting on Heather a little bit, being like, why is this happening? It went too far on the show. The girls, they cried about bullying all season and then just continued to bully everyone all season. Like, they are just a group of mean girls. They made Heather cry. They were so brutally mean to her when they could have just said hi and then like ignored her if they were really that pissed about it.
Yeah.
Also, you have been there for 6 weeks and she just showed up. Like, why are you so insecure? If you have a connection with Matt, it's going to show anyway. Heather showing up isn't just going to be like, oh, Matt's with Heather now.
Yeah.
Like, they acted so poorly. It really left a bad taste in my mouth the way they all acted.
Right. We, the viewer, were sick of Heather because we've been watching teasers for 5 or 6 weeks. And it's like, can we please just get past the Heather thing? Because we all knew that Heather wasn't going to stick around. Matt was not going to keep her around. The house would have gone even crazier if he had decided to keep her around. But for the girls to just lay into her, and then she did start crying, and they kept going. Like, she was clearly crying in front of them. She was like, I just wanted to maybe give this a shot. I didn't want to come 6 weeks in, but that's now when I have arrived. And they just kept being so mean to her. When you're right, Rhea, they could have just been like, all right, Heather's here, but we've all had way more time with Matt, so we shouldn't be that worried about Heather. Maybe they have met before, maybe they hadn't, maybe they had a connection before. We don't know any of that, but we don't have to be worried because we have spent so much time with Matt. They just went the opposite way, and this house turns into bullies. They get rid of the bullies, and then they turn into the bullies that they kicked out of there, and it's just a never-ending cycle. They just didn't have to be that ruthless to Heather at all.
Yeah, we watched Jasenia and MJ fight and talk about the bullying and everything, and then Jasenia was quick to get into Heather, like, just the words they use are just so mean. And then, Heather got emotional and started to cry, and the girls were like, save your tears for your interviews. Like, it was like so ruthless. And at the end of the day, it was 20 minutes. Like, Heather was gone by 8:20 p.m. Like, it was.
I got the timer. I actually have the official timer that I did last night.
Yeah,
it was at 6 minutes at the end of last episode. The total was 16 minutes and 38 seconds.
Yeah, that's like, it was a blip. A quick blip of Heather showing up. Matt didn't keep her. Matt sent her home. She immediately left after going through the whole process of showing up and whatnot. And then the girls, sure, they can be pissed. You can be mad, but they really took it out on Heather.
Yeah, I feel like there's a difference between being bitchy and just being a straight up bully. Like, being bitchy would be like, oh, hi, Heather, and then just like going on with their lives. But they were just straight up ganging up on her. And that's when it becomes a bully situation, when all of the girls sitting around in one place just start going after one target. Like, nobody wants to be put in that position. They did it to Sarah, and it's like, just because the other person might be in the wrong, or like not even in the wrong because they should know better. They should know that producers have something to do with Heather, but like, maybe you're against it. Like, what? They just went too hard. Like, just way too hard. I mean, I get Piper being interrupted by Heather. I would be very annoyed as well.
Yeah. But
all the other girls that joined in were just mean.
Yeah, there's such a difference between saying to Heather's face, I am really upset that you're here, and this really is pissing me off, to being like, so you're just a season hopper? Like, you're just a bachelor hopping seasons. Like, why get out of here? Why are you even here? Like, it's just
and then Kit was like, bitch. Who speaks like that in real life? Like, have you ever actually called somebody a bitch face to face? I don't think I've ever actually
not in the tone that they did.
Be like, see a bitch.
Yeah, see a bitch.
Like, what are we in a Mean Girls parody movie? Because that's what it feels like.
Yeah. So it was bad. Heather went home.
I was hoping that Matt was going to keep her around. That was as it was happening. I was like, keep her around. Like, I've now flipped, and I want Heather to stay. I want her to get a hometown rose. I want her to go to the final 3. We know that she doesn't win, but I wanted her to stick around just so the other girls, just because they were just so mean for no reason.
Yeah. Yep. So Heather leaves with the first rose ceremony of the evening, where Chelsea and Serena C were sent home. Serena C, her time was coming. Like, that clock expired. She's out of there. And Chelsea, we all really loved. I don't think she and Matt necessarily connected as much as we had hoped. And hopefully, I think Chelsea appears on another show. She's been vocal talking about what's been going on now, but has also acknowledged that she has appreciated the time on the show and had a good experience being on the show, like actually filming the show. So
Yeah, I think
hopefully
Chelsea.
she appears in something else.
Yeah, I'd say she's a lock for Paradise and maybe more.
Yeah,
like, she absolutely should come back. She's great. We loved her all
she
season.
shines.
Yeah,
best
you're right.
style. People were saying
Phenomenal
Chelsea
style.
by far had the
Incredible.
best style.
Yeah.
Great dresses every single week. She killed it.
Yeah, I agree. And then we got these one-on-one dates, group date one-on-one dates. We're going into hometown, so I think all the girls were getting pretty nervous here. It's like, as a viewer, it felt like, wow, we're moving so fast here. We're at hometowns already.
This season, it's one of the more confusing seasons in terms of
I know,
how I feel throughout
timeline-wise.
the timeline. But like the whole time, it's felt like we've had
they
on
paced
average.
it weirdly.
They did. They feels like on average the whole time we've had 15 to 17 girls there the whole time. And then last night they're like, get ready for hometown.
Now we have
it's like,
4.
what? What do you mean? And last night, obviously, we saw the most girls go home that we've seen by far this season.
Yep.
And that needed to happen because we are getting close to hometowns. But it just felt like we've been stuck at around 15 girls for the whole show.
Yeah, definitely. And now all of a
Each week
sudden
we were
it's
like,
down.
how are they going to get rid of all these people? And then last night they just dropped 6 girls off the show. They were like, that's how.
Yeah.
That's how we're doing
That's
it.
how we're doing it.
Early on, they were adding people. They were adding girls early on. We're
Yeah.
like, they're just never going to fit this all in. And then last night, 6 girls went home.
For sure. And I just think maybe because there has been so many girls and there were girls added in, that this season has just felt like we haven't really gotten to see a full-blown like connection where I'm like, okay, these two make sense. I think we saw it the most maybe with Michelle actually on TV. So we'll see what happens. But Serena P got the first one-on-one. I think the rest of the girls were maybe a little salty because this was Serena P's second one-on-one date, and Abigail hadn't gotten a one-on-one date yet. Serena P, I thought this was the kiss of death. I thought it was like, okay, second one-on-one date, Matt's testing the waters. He's probably going to send her home. He had said that he felt like they were in the friend zone. So they really teed it up for us where I was like, okay, I fell for it where I was like, oh, Serena P, she's got to be going home. He said friend zone and second date, but it ended up working out for Serena P, even though she absolutely hated the yoga date they were on.
Hated that date.
Hated it.
And Matt had no idea.
Yeah.
Didn't realize. Once it was all done, he was like, that was a fun date. She was like, it wasn't. I had zero fun on that date.
That shows what kind of connection those two have, right? Like Matt's like, good times, right? She's like, no, I actually hated that. Matt didn't realize at all one time during that whole date that Serena was uncomfortable.
He misses a lot sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, she definitely did not like the date, but her being honest about not liking the date, I think made Matt rethink that their relationship. Yeah. I think you're right, Fran, where second one-on-one, he's probably like, I don't know where Serena P and I are at, friend zone, all of that. And then when she's honest with him about, no, I did not like that date, I will never be doing a date like that ever again, he's like, oh, it's nice to have someone be honest with me. I feel like I know where we're at, and that's a genuine connection that he has. When Michelle is kind of the only other one in the house, Serena P, I think she came out looking really well in Matt's eyes, being like, all right, it's nice to have somebody be honest with me finally.
Yeah.
Right, because any girl could have just been like, yeah, that was totally fine, because he didn't pick up on it. So they could have just went along with him being like, it was great, and then be like, yeah, it was great, and then they would be great. But the only way that they're going to get a real connection is if you're honest with each other. And by Serena being like, that was not great to me, I was actually highly uncomfortable, I never want to do that again, I think he was like, oh, wow, she's quite honest, and I like it.
Even after he didn't get the kiss, he still didn't realize that the date did not go well.
Yeah, that was really quite an uncomfortable moment while they were doing the yoga. It was like a nose butterfly kiss that he went in for the lip kiss, but she backed off, and then they kind of laughed. It was uncomfortable to watch. But Serena, I like Serena and Matt a lot, but I do still kind of sense the friend vibes from them too. Yeah. And Serena explains, slow to open up, takes her a little bit longer to form those kinds of romantic connections. So maybe it happens later for them. And it did work because she got the rose. She kind of talked herself into that hometown date rose, but Matt was like, yeah, here it is, hometowns.
Really an incredible moment.
Yeah.
Where they're at dinner and they're talking about their future potentially together. And at one point, I think she just says, I can't wait for you to meet my family. I can't wait. Yeah. It's going to be great when you meet my parents. And he was like, yeah, it is going to be great. Here's the rose. Like, she just got into his mind. Yeah. I think he was probably going to give her the rose anyway, but she certainly like made it happen by being like, I can't wait for you to meet my family. It's going to be great. And he was like, here you go. Here's that rose. It was pretty amazing to watch.
It was a good job. She did a good job. She got that rose. All things going well for Serena P. Then we had the group date where the girls are continuing to drop like flies. But let's talk about Olipop's.
So right before we were recording this podcast, I was talking to Trent about how I was in the hospital for a kidney infection a few years ago. And I went to the hospital and they said to me, do you drink a lot of soda? Because it looks like it. And I was like, oh, yes, I do. I drink a shit ton of soda. I'm addicted to soda. And they were like, well, you got to stop for at least 2 weeks. You have to stop drinking soda. So for 2 weeks, I stopped. I had terrible headaches, the whole thing. And my mom was like, it sounds like you're having a soda withdrawal. And I was, because then I went back to the soda. But now I have cut actual soda out of my life because it is really bad for you. It is. I was in high school and had a kidney infection from soda, which is terrible. Like you're like 16 at the time. And it just has so much sugar that it's just terrible for you. It's terrible for your teeth, the whole thing. But I have found a great alternative with Olipop. My favorite flavor is the vintage cola because I love Coca-Cola. It's by far my, if I had to pick a flavor, that would be the favorite. So the vintage cola makes up for that. It tastes so, so good. It hits that sweet spot, that carbonated feeling in your throat that you look for with soda, that sugary feeling without all the sugar. It's perfect. It has 90% less sugar than your leading brands. A single can of Coca-Cola has 39 grams of sugar.
So much. That's so much.
That is a lot of sugar.
Yeah, that's dumping 10 full teaspoons of sugar into your drink and then drinking it. That is so bad for you. But with Olipop, that's no longer the case. Olipop is made with natural ingredients that are actually good for you. And they are so confident that you will love their products that they offer a 100% money-back guarantee for orders placed through their website, which is dedication. They know you're going to love this shit. And trust me, you will. It's so good. It's that perfect soda alternative. I'm definitely going to have one right when we end this. I'm just thinking about that carbonated vintage cola taste in my mouth. So right now, they've helped us out, and they are giving Chicks in the Office listeners a deal. You can receive 20% off right now, plus free shipping if you go to drinkolipop.com/chicks and use our code CHICKS at checkout. Once again, that's drinkolipop.com/chicks. Full discount applied at checkout. Olipop can also be found in 5,000 stores across the country, Whole Foods, Sprouts, Wegmans, wherever. But if you go online and use promo code CHICKS, you'll get 20% off that sweet, sweet, delicious soda feeling.
The group date, and it was just, there was no activity. It was just a night date. The ladies got dressed up. They went to have a little evening gathering with Matt James, and that's what they did. They had a lot of conversations. I feel
because they've been cutting out so many cocktail parties.
Yeah. We're just like, we got to actually show Matt speaking to some of these women.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
And that ended up bringing on some breakups. There were some great conversations. He seems like he's connecting with a lot of these women. However, he sat down with Abigail because Abigail, we saw her all episode, kind of nervous. She hasn't gotten a one-on-one. She got that first impression rose. And it's kind of like, well, where are we? Where do we stand? I don't know if he likes me. What the deal is? And she sits down with Matt, and Matt pretty much says to her, like, instantly, it was there. We were attracted to each other. You got that first impression rose. And then I kind of forgot about you and created other relationships that are now stronger, and therefore I am sending you home.
Yeah, he said, I felt great at the beginning of our relationship.
Yeah,
and I felt
such a connection.
I felt such connection. It was so strong that I was like, oh, that one's good. Now I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna build these other relationships. Not as comforting as he maybe thought it sounded in his head.
I think he thought it sounded nicer, but when you think about it, it was like that doesn't sound that nice.
Abigail is too pure and good for this show. Straight up. Like I although we were rooting for her, it was like Matt is so clearly not paying attention to her
and she
deserves better than that.
Yep.
So even though it was fucked up, it was a good thing that he was honest, right? Because he could have just like made up something, but he straight up was like, I didn't focus on you. I forgot about you and focused on other people. So he was just owning up to the fact that he just kind of brushed her off to the side, and unfortunately their connection didn't develop.
Yeah, exactly. It's sad. We loved Abigail. I think she didn't really get any time after that first impression rose.
No one-on-one date for the first impression rose is crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make any sense, but it is what it is. Matt said, the connection's stronger with the other girls now. He sent Abigail home.
I mean, it used to be the first impression rose. That was a pretty good indicator that person might win.
We had a long running stint of the first impression rose winner winning the show.
Spencer screwed it up.
Yeah, that was the beginning.
How
of the
long
end.
was Spencer around after he got the first impression rose? A couple weeks?
A few weeks, but he also came in late. I mean, he didn't come in late. He was Tayshia's first impression rose, which obviously
That's right.
started later. So he wasn't in the Claire's original group.
Right.
But
yeah.
Spencer was funny because he got that first impression rose and we literally did not see him at all. Like Abigail,
It's not fair to compare the two.
because we not only did Tayshia forget about Spencer, we forgot about Spencer.
Correct.
Matt forgot about Abigail, but we didn't forget about Abigail. No. We were really hoping for Abigail to get her moment.
Every time they opened those date cards, we were hoping, those one-on-one date cards, we were hoping it said Abigail.
I couldn't believe it said Serena P again when Serena P got the date again.
Even the girls and the rest of the girls in the house and Serena P couldn't believe it. They were like, all right, well, this one-on-one date is definitely going to Abigail.
Yeah.
Open it up, it said Serena P, and it got very awkward in that room.
Yeah.
Abigail should have gotten at least one-on-one.
I agree. So Matt escorted her out. She was sent home. Rachel got the group date Rose, which then led to their own little Aloe Black concert.
Yeah.
Looked absolutely lovely. Aloe Black gave you a nice retweet on Twitter.
He did, because I said this is not an obscure band.
Yeah.
Aloe Black is not obscure.
No.
That guy is famous and he's got great music.
Yeah.
And I tweeted, this guy's fucking awesome.
Song with Avicii is one of the best songs ever.
It really is. I was listening to it this morning. That's how good it is. I listened to it a few times actually. He quote tweeted me just.
Which one is that?
It's
Wake me up when it's all over. That is a dynamite song.
Yeah.
That's
Remember,
dynamite.
I'm the man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I need $1. I mean, he's got a bunch.
Yes,
I mean,
he's got a bunch of great
Yeah.
songs.
Really does. Yeah, he quote
Wake
tweeted
me up when
it's all over.
Oh, summer 2014.
Yeah, that does. That is one of those songs that teleports you
Yep.
back in time.
Because my boyfriend broke up with me, and I was like, "Wake me up."
Oh
when
shit!
it's all-"
That song.
I tweeted that out a few times. Wake me up when it's all over.
That song came
I'm
out
wiser and I'm older.
right as
Look at me
I
now.
got this job. That reminds me of when I first got hired here, and I would listen to that like, yes,
Yes. Don't even wake me up when it's over. 'Cause the shit's great.
Let me live this dream, and I was just fucking jamming out. That's such a good song.
Great song. So, look, when Rachel, not only did we already think Rachel was going to be the one at the end, but she gets the group day rose, she gets the Aloe Black concert. It's like, okay, this, these two, we can see it. And the way Matt, and I forgot when Matt had said this. I think it was
that
maybe
2013 or 2014?
I'm
Sorry.
almost positive.
I think it's 2013, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I must have just what month in
I'll
2013?
tell you. Wake Me Up. Because it came out on the album. It came out on the.
It was definitely
True album
summer, right?
in 2013.
That was such a summer jam.
Wake Me Up, okay, released as the lead single from his debut studio album True on June 17th, 2013.
Okay,
so borderline 2014. It went into 2014. People were playing it.
I got hired January 2014, so I was right
Oh,
there.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
people
People
listen to
it's-
this song endlessly. Like,
Yeah.
for sure.
It hadn't even been a year. That
Yeah.
song was
Yeah.
still on.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I
It was
feel
just
bad
hitting the
about
radio waves.
it. Right.
Yeah.
Such a good song.
Definitely in that allotted period. So, no, but I was saying
That song is so much better. I'm sorry, but that song is just so much better than Closer by the Chainsmokers. Like when you think of songs that were played constantly over and over and over again, like give me Wake Me Up over Closer any day.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
Closer
listen to
still
that when
has
we're
a
done
sweet
here.
spot
I just
in
want you
my
to know. Now it's just a countdown until we're done here, and I get to listen to that song again.
I'm definitely listening on my way
Y'all
home
know
today.
Noah's going to end this segment with that song. It's already going to happen. Okay. There was one moment, I can't remember when it happened, that Matt, I'm going to forget what exactly he said, but it was something along the lines of, like, I feel really confident with the ladies, like, that are here. Like, the way he spoke just made it seem like in his mind, he already has someone picked that he wants to be engaged to,
Right.
Like, regardless of how many girls are left, like, the way he spoke, it was just like he has made up his mind already. Like, it seems like he knows who he wants to pick.
It's very awkward watching it now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
awkward.
it is.
Nobody knows how to react to
Right.
Matt James and Rachel hitting it off because first of all,
Right.
we haven't
Nobody knows what's
seen-
happening now.
No, yeah, exactly. Nobody knows what's happening now. Rachel waited so long to say
Yeah.
anything about what was happening.
Yeah.
We didn't really see them develop a connection at all. One day they just had it. So
Right.
the whole thing is weird to watch to see where it goes.
Yeah. And after that,
I do want to mention the fake snow.
ooh, the fake snow.
Oh yeah.
The fake snow.
Yep.
It was just so fake, and it was a split second. So if you didn't see it, that makes all the sense in the world. But it's just the fakest snow in the world. It's coming. If you go back and watch, it's coming in from the side.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
Yep.
just
Yeah.
when they hit the body of Matt or Rachel, it
just like
doesn't
dust.
melt. It doesn't melt. It just sits there.
Yeah.
And it's very clearly fake snow, which I enjoyed. I think that's.
Yeah.
You love weather.
I do like weather. I like when weather's happening outside. I think like snow is.
That's usually where it happens.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. When I'm not outside, I should have said. Like I like watching when it first snows or when it snows. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
But then if I have to go run an errand, I'm like, fuck.
Right,
this.
because it looks pretty until you're out on the trashy streets of New York
Yeah.
City.
Right, New
It
York
looks nice and fake on the TV.
New York.
Could you rank your seasons?
Rank my seasons.
Yeah.
Well, summer's
we talked
last.
about this.
Summer's definitely last.
Yeah. Not for me, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I just
Oh yeah, I feel like we did because I
I think we
everyone got
talked
mad
about
at
this
Fran.
when we got obsessed about fall.
No,
I think-
because
I
I
think
said I don't
Fran
really
had-
love fall.
No,
Okay.
I love fall.
I just get
fall,
like depressed.
Someone had a
in fall.
take that everyone was shocked by.
fall.
Me, I said I didn't really love fall, and everyone,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
everyone
yeah,
loves
yeah,
fall.
yeah.
I go fall, summer, spring, winter.
fall, spring, winter, summer.
I would go summer, spring.
If you put winter before fall.
Are you gonna put fall last year?
I was thinking about it.
Dude,
I
go with your
was.
go with your heart.
It's really hard. I get a very weird feeling every fall. I don't know why. I get a very strange feeling every fall. I don't know why, and I don't really want to go too deep into
yeah,
it.
just hates fall.
It's not even I hate, like, the weather's fine,
Yeah.
it's still kind of warmish. I love that. I love that it's still
Yeah.
kind of warm. I love September. I think that's a great month.
great month.
But there's something that makes me very sad in the fall, and I don't know what it is. And I don't really feel that way about winter. I feel happier now than I did in the fall.
I guess maybe because fall's like a transition season. Like it's as
I
the
think
season
because I
goes
hate
on, it gets
summer
colder
ending
and
so
colder.
much
Right,
that
right.
maybe just because fall's next, it just gets gets that heat. I don't know.
Fall reminds me of.
Spring has to be last for me. I don't
Are you
like
an
spring.
allergies guy?
A little bit, but that has nothing to do with
We
it.
know
Yeah,
he's an
'cause-
allergies guy.
No, but
I mean, I'm not really that big.
well, a seasonal allergy.
We see you and we
Seasonal-
respect your
Yes,
peanut
we
allergy.
do.
Yeah.
we
well,
do.
that-
No, I'm talking
That's
about
not weather.
yes, I'm talking about seasonal allergies. Well, then
Yeah,
no, wait,
peanuts
Noah,
really
what's
in the
your
spring.
what's your ranking?
What?
What's your ranking?
Probably fall. I would say fall, summer, winter, spring. But winter and summer could interchange for the second spot.
Interesting.
Fall reminds
Winter and summer
Winter
can
and summer could
interchange.
flip flop.
Yeah, summer could be 3.
What?
You like the winter as much as you like the summer.
I'm telling you, like sometimes it changes.
Okay.
but,
Wait,
like,
aren't
Yeah.
I think my last two
Okay.
were winter and summer, right? I like. Yeah, I.
Why don't you just? It's too hot for you.
But
to
it's one of
handle?
those things
I-
where like when it's summer,
Like a
Are you a
polar
little
bear?
baby that you can't handle? the
everyone
heat?
has that feeling where it's like you're in the summer and you're like, oh, I wish it was snowing and like I could ski, and then you're in the winter and you're like, I wish it was at the beach right now.
No. I think 75
I don't ever wish
degree
for the
weather.
winter
No,
when it's the summer.
75-degree weather is perfect. 75-degree weather
Well, then you
on
should
is
Live in
absolutely.
like LA.
Trust me, I wish I could. Do you know how many times a day I say, why do the
Why
fuck
do-
do we
why
live
do
in
I
New York
live
City,
somewhere
Noah?
cold?
You just triggered me with that
Yeah.
statement. Of course I wish I could live somewhere else. Are you kidding me? I tweeted the other day, I said, why do we choose to live in cold states? It makes
Yeah.
no sense to me.
I just don't have the body type for winter. I run
You mean
hot.
summer?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have
that's
the
what I
body
meant.
type for
I'm sorry.
winter.
I
is what
have
you
the body
think?
type for winter. I don't like. I like wearing layers. I like wearing hoodies. That's why fall is the best. Summer, it's so hot. I'm gonna get a sunburn, and
See, I'm the opposite. I love a sunburn. I love wearing like no clothes. Like I'm just like it's freeing. The summer is a freeing feeling. You walk out on the streets of New York City, you don't have to worry about throwing on a jacket or anything. You walk in, you got your shorts on, some sneakers, a little tank top, woo, feeling free down the street. You feel light. In the winter, you just feel,
You and Trent could not be further away on the spectrum of how you feel, like how you act and dress in the summer.
I'm envisioning myself walking down the streets in the outfit that you described. That is not me.
Made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was just like...
I feel like you're not factoring in, like, holidays, though. Like, that's a great part of winter.
Christmas,
Yeah.
like, all that New Year's. Like,
I'm not too attached to holidays. I don't know if you guys knew that about me.
I
don't have a large attachment to
But it's just
them.
like that vibe. And
like they're great, but I'm not like...
Christmas season is up there as one of my favorite times of the year.
It's great, but I'm just not attached.
It smells like trees.
Winter
everywhere.
spans more than just the holiday season, and therefore it knocks it down.
After Christmas, winter sucks. It's like the Christmas leading up, the point where summer ends and it's leading up to Christmas, and you cut out all the fall, whatever, and it's like November.
Skip over
it's
fall.
like November 15th and on. Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. It's like, this is 1 month is so exciting, so many events, and then after that, it's like
it's technically fall until December 21st or something.
That's not right.
No, it is.
Yeah, no, September.
Winter solstice is like
really?
December 21st.
September 21st or 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah, or 23rd.
No, September is summer solstice when it switches to fall, and then December 20th or 21st is December.
They say that winter begins... Well, if you go by the almanac, when did the season start in 2021? According to this definition, it goes on the first of the month. Seasons, spring starts, okay, for the love of course, there's almanac.com giving me an ad.
Look, I just said, if you type in winter solstice day, December 21st, 2020.
Spring begins on March 1st, summer on June 1st, autumn on September 1st, winter on December 1st.
I thought we were talking about the fall, sorry.
The first day
That's
of
the
winter
solstice.
in the northern
Solstice is
hemisphere is winter solstice.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're talking.
I don't know how we got here. I just know that
this is the meteorological start of a season.
Okay, yeah.
People really are not going to like my take about fall, but I
said summer was last,
right?
And
right.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
If you don't like winter
if I didn't
that
get
much,
sad,
then I
I
can see why
would
fall.
like it.
Because like I like fall too, because it's like, oh, winter's coming after this. Like it's double.
It's a build up.
I just don't know how you could beat summer. I just don't know how you could beat summer. But I guess some people just aren't built for it.
Literally.
Summer, maybe I would have said when I was a kid, and it's like summer vacation.
Right, there's no school.
Yeah,
That's
but now
the
it's like, I still have to work. Like,
Yeah, but then you get to go in the ocean and the pool, and
not really that much. I'm like in the city.
Let's move on. I feel like we're all gonna stay strong in our own seasons.
I wish I could put summer lower. I'll say that. I just wish I could put it lower.
Why?
Look, you really don't like it,
You
so
really
that
hate
it
it
is
that
what it
much?
is. It is what it is.
I don't like it.
Maybe if you went out and stuff, you would like it.
Maybe.
Like if you were somebody who's going to the rooftops,
Yeah, I'm sure there's elements to that I would enjoy,
right.
but
You love sitting in your
Do you like
apartment
the
and
beach?
watching TV, and doing that in the winter is very comfortable. Doing that in the summer is
it's acceptable as well.
yeah.
Yeah. Trent, do you like the beach?
I love doing that as well, but
I hate sand. It gets everywhere. It's always with you.
Yeah, the summer's not for you. That's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. It's not for
It's
you.
okay. It's okay.
That's okay.
Summer's not for you.
we still accept you.
Yeah.
Thank
summer's
you.
not for you. All right.
I do not know where we were.
Rachel got the group date. Rose. Okay. Kit.
You were talking about the snow, that's why.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
I love that. I believe Trent said, "Oh, quickly, I just got to say about the fake snow," and we just spent
30
20 minutes talking about the seasons. Kit sent herself home. I think Kit just pulled the right move here. Like Kit on the date sat down with Matt and was like, "Hey, here's my 5-year plan.
Yeah.
If it's me at the end of this thing, like I don't want to get married yet. I want to finish school. I want to travel. Need someone who's going to support me in everything that I want to do. And I probably don't want to have kids till like 25, 26. Which at 26, I'm like, whoa, okay, but that's fine.
Kit doesn't really want to have
Yeah,
kids
yeah.
at 25,
I feel,
26.
Like, I almost felt like Kit laid that all out there, so Matt would be like, "Oh, you know what? I think our plans don't line up, and you should probably go home."
Yeah.
But he didn't, and so at the end, she had to go back to Matt and be like, "Hey, so I think what I told you and because of what I said, this is just isn't going to work. And Matt tried to get her to stay. Again, and she was like, no, I think I'm pretty unwavering in this decision. Think it's the best thing for both of us. It's time for me to leave. Kit went on reality TV in the best way that she could. She's 21 years old. She went on The Bachelor. Everybody knows her name now. She gained hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers. And yes, she already has, the famous mom and whatnot. But this happened in the matter of 2 months. That happens. And she makes a connection with Matt, but not enough. And she leaves right before hometowns to be like, well, now I don't need to drag my family into this, and I'll leave now. It is a really great lesson for any future contestants on this show who have a similar idea and want to kind of do what Kit did, because contestants in the past have gotten caught in a situation where they wanted that same thing, but then they stuck around for a little bit too long and it got too serious. And then they're like, oh shit, I'm caught up in this. So for Kit to see it coming, she was like, all right, now I've been on the show. Still enough girls left. Her and Matt had connections here and there, but nothing too crazy. She sees hometowns coming. She's like, all right, I don't feel this connection, but I've kind of gotten what I wanted out of this show. I got to pull the ripcord now. Otherwise, he's going to meet my family. Things might get more serious, but I won't feel as serious because I have this 5-year plan. She, like you said, Fran, she pulled it off perfectly.
Yeah, perfectly executed by Kit.
Kit was on Instagram all weekend hanging out with Charlotte Lawrence.
Well, no, they've been friends for years.
That's what I'm saying. She's in those circles already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You are right that she was one of the mean girls, but you could really say that about just about every girl in the house, where when they're away from Matt and they're in the group setting with the other girls, it's chaos and it's bullying and all of them get swept up into it. And then when they're with Matt, we see Kit's a perfect example where I like this version of Kit. I think she's very mature in these moments with Matt. It's just every girl you can see the version of them in the house and the version of with them with Matt, it's just very different.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know which one's real.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure.
I think it could be both.
It could certainly be both. So Kit sent herself home, and then Jasenia had a one-on-one date. They drifted in some cars. That was the date. Jasenia is one of those girls that does seem like she acts differently around. Yeah. Like she called out MJ for acting differently with the girls than she did with Matt. But Jasenia also kind of seems like she acts a little bit differently with the girls than she did with Matt. And at the end of the day, Matt wasn't feeling it, and she got sent home also. I know people don't generally like Jasenia for that very reason that you just mentioned. Yeah. But Matt waving that rose in her face for what felt like 5 minutes complimenting her as he did it. Yeah. Saying very nice things, and she's probably thought she was getting the rose.
She's probably thinking, this is great. He's gonna meet my family. I'm gonna get a hometown. And then that butt just drops.
Put the rose back
like a hammer. Puts it down. And he's like, I just don't see it. Yep. He did the same thing to Katie.
Yeah.
He just. I don't remember anyone in the past ever picking up the one-on-one date rose and holding it in front of them before not giving it to them.
I feel like it's a nervous thing. Yeah. You know when you need someone to play with in your hands, and he's probably nervous, so he's like, I'm going to hold this rose, but then he's not realizing how much the rose means to that girl, so it's kind of an awkward thing, but I do think it's like a nervous thing.
Yeah, I would recommend a fork or a spoon.
Something else. Napkin,
anything.
Anything with texture.
It would be hilarious if he did this with a girl and the girl just jumped the gun. And like if he picked up the rose and she was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Before he even started to talk, and he'd have to be like, no,
he would give it. That's the thing. Matt James would just end up
probably
giving
just be like, you
know
what?
I think
already happened.
That's a great point.
I'll send you home next round. Yeah. We'll deal with it then.
It's like when somebody proposes on a Jumbotron.
Yeah.
And the person's just like, I mean, you're kind of putting me in a spot here, so I'll just say yes. And then once the crowd goes away and they're back home, they're like, I got to say no.
Yeah. Right. We'll deal with this later. But I'll make you look good for now.
We'll talk about this later. So Jasenia goes home. We go into the last rose ceremony. It was a lot. There was, 2 rose ceremonies because I felt like they dragged out so many this season. We got 2 in this one. 4 hometowns. Rachel's got a rose. Serena P has a rose. So it's the last 2 are between Bree, Piper, and Michelle. Bree and Michelle get roses, and Piper is sent home. This made sense. This top 4 makes a lot of sense from how we've seen the connections with these girls and the ones that have either sent themselves home or whatnot. Bree felt like, I thought Bree was going to get the I thought Brie was going to get the group date rose.
Because she said...
she talked about she quit her job, her dream job to be here. And like Brie really has been, I think, opened up a lot to Matt. And Matt hasn't exactly given Brie the amount that Brie has given to him.
Yeah.
But Brie got the rose and Michelle got the rose. Which the connections between those two with Matt felt more than the connection he had with Piper.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Sucked for Piper, but her dress was pretty.
Yeah, all of her dresses were pretty.
Piper also really had good dresses, I feel like.
Here's the thing. I'm rooting for Brie, Michelle, or Serena P. Yeah. But I don't think any of those girls win at this point. Like, that's the unfortunate part. Because they seem like three great girls, honestly.
Yeah.
Especially Brie and Michelle. Serena P had a little, I think she was kind of involved with being a little mean in some parts. I didn't see Brie act that way, and I didn't see Michelle. I might have been missing something, though. But I don't know. It's gonna be crazy to see what actually happens after all of this.
Definitely. The trailer looked very ominous.
Yeah. Emotional.
So it's hard because we're at that point where normally in the season, we don't know what's happening. We're in the dark. We don't look at spoilers. We're excited. We're trying to decide who he picks, who gets hometowns, whatnot. And from what has gone down this season, it just feels so obvious that it's hard to even act like the other girls have a chance.
Right. But I'm hoping that maybe if like Michelle gets her heart broken or Brie gets her heart broken, like one of them will be the Bachelorette.
Right. Definitely. I could definitely see that too.
I could see Brie being the Bachelorette.
Yeah, I like Brie a lot. Yeah. I like Michelle a lot. Michelle had a very funny she made fun of Matt's push-ups in the end credits after the trailer they did whatever their little end credit fun, and she did push-ups after the rose ceremony pretending to be Matt. It was funny. She did good push-ups, very good push-ups, good form. Yeah, they seem really nice, all the girls. So yeah,
it's gonna be a strange ending,
right? To have Serena, Brie, and Michelle, and then it's like, well, then there's Rachel and. Seems like she wins, so here we are.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
Yep. We had so much fun with Hannah and Paige from Summer House. I think we've locked in 2 new friends. Very exciting. Very exciting. But before we jump into that, guys, Figs, we want anybody you know that is in the healthcare field, or if you are a healthcare professional yourself, you should be rocking the Figs. We have heard amazing things from those in the healthcare world that do wear them. They love them. They think they're so comfortable. They have kind of like that athleisure feel to them instead of the boxy, starchy, normal scrubs. It's a way to kind of take the scrubs into the 21st century. Super comfortable. You can mix and match. They have all these, they got all these pockets, which I feel like is clutch. Anything that has a lot of pockets, it's amazing, especially in this field when you need to utilize all your pockets. So you can mix and match. Like I said, the 100% awesome core scrubs include pants and tops that come with 1 to 3 pockets, depending on how much stuff you like to carry. So you can adjust those pockets. All different colors. You can pick whichever you like. And like we said, those we know who wear them absolutely love them because obviously we don't wear them ourselves. But we know plenty of people who do, and they highly, highly recommend Figs for your go-to scrub. It's really fantastic. So if you're one of those awesome people that are in the healthcare field right now, Figs wants you to wear the scrubs you deserve and enjoy 15% off your first order. You can also gift scrubs. If you know someone that is working on the front lines right now, thank them with the gift of scrubs, the gift of Figs. Figs will give you 15% off too. Use the code CHICKS15 at checkout. You can go to wearfigs.com. That's WEARFIGS.com and enter our code CHICKS15 and get ready to love your scrubs.
All right, everyone, we are here with 2 very special guests, Hannah and Paige from Bravo's Summer House. It's been a long time coming. We've had to reschedule a few times. Right before this, I sliced my finger open and I was like, you're just going to have to play through it. We can't reschedule again. No one's going to believe you. So we are happy to finally have you guys on the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
We want to thank you for talking through the pain right now. And but I do want to acknowledge you guys are like OGs. Like, you guys are legends in the podcast game, and you've definitely inspired a lot of people. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge that.
Well, thank you. That's very nice.
You have to be nice in the beginning before
that made me feel like kind of old, but but like in a good way. But like in a good way.
That made me feel cool because I was like, damn, I'm still so young and I'm like an OG already. Like, thank you.
You're 3 years younger than I am, so that's
we saw you guys and we were like, hey, we can talk shit too. We should start a podcast.
Yeah, you guys are so great. And I love that you guys have a great dynamic, especially on the show. And I feel like Hannah, you crack me up with your reactions and the things you say, and Paige, you as well. And I feel like, I think it was maybe like one of the first few episodes that Paige was on Summer House where you guys were like talking about sex, or you went to like the sex shop and Paige was like, I don't talk about these things or whatever. And now last night's episode, she was like, so was Luke good in bed? And I was like, Hannah has changed Paige, but in the best way possible. I just love your guys' friendship.
It's a coming of age story. A tale as old as time, and now I talk about sex.
I do think that it's important to have a friend who's similar to you in terms of sense of humor and type of alcohol you like, but then you want different tastes in boys, and you also want just different perspectives on life in some ways. When I see Paige talk about sex and just a little more goofy, and then when I'm putting on press on nails, I'm like, I found someone who made us better.
Yeah, so true.
That's what friendship is about.
Yeah. Well, you guys, the whole dynamic on the show is so great. And I will say, I think Rhea and I were both a little late to jump on the Summer House train. We both started watching, Rhea started watching first in lockdown and quarantine, and was like, Fran, I know we haven't done it, but it's time. You got to watch Summer House. Just start. And I was like, okay. We both watched it in 3 days and totally caught up. And we were like, okay, we get it now. I understand. It's just you guys just have so much fun where it's not necessarily, I don't know, as much sometimes breaking news moments, but you guys are just in a house, having a good time with people you really like.
It's definitely a different level of drama. No one's getting deported. However, when someone eats someone's egg and the person was hungover and really wanted that egg, that's the relatable shit. But we actually started getting DMs when you guys started talking about us. People were like, oh my God, chicks in the office said they think you guys are fucking hilarious. And then I was like, oh my God, we have to connect. So this is
Yeah, I actually didn't watch the seasons without you two on it because everyone was like, no, you just need to watch Hannah and Paige. You just need to watch Hannah and Paige. So I just skipped the other seasons and I was like, those two are my girls. It's settled. You two are my favorite. Don't really care about everyone else, but
yeah. I think we dropped the ball too because Hannah, I don't know if you remember, but you were at the office. I guess it must have been before lockdown. I don't know when it was, but I feel we were doing something with Ellie. And you were coming out of the bathroom and I was walking into the bathroom and I was like, oh, sorry. And and we passed. And then after watching the show, and I was like, Fran, you fucking idiot. Now I'm like,
that's so funny you brought that up because I was in to do Call Her Daddy, I think.
Oh, yes.
And I walked into the bathroom and saw you. And I know who you are. And I think you know who I am. And for a second, we're about to be like, hey. And then we both realized we don't know each other. And then just went into the stall. And I was like, it was a potential moment of friendship.
I was like, I left the moment and was like, I dropped the ball on that one. Could have handled that way better.
It means I like you because who really wants to have small talk in the bathroom at 10 a.m.?
Very true.
I like the friends that like my Instagram pictures, but don't text me to hang out. Those are my favorite kind of friends.
Yeah, internet friends.
It's called boundaries.
Yeah. Right. And I will say, Paige, you are a wonderful influence, but a bad influence on Instagram because I just bought a Prada hat the other day because of you.
No. Prada bucket hat.
I called Hannah and I go, I did something really, really bad. And I feel like she was waiting for some crazy.
I was like, let's bury the body. Where is it?
Dating story. And then I put the hat on and I was like, I needed it. I needed it.
Listen, it makes. Oh yeah, I made that.
Rhea made this emoji and sent it to me and was like, I need the hat.
I was like, that's me. and I feel like I need the hat, and so I got it, and you were the inspiration. I DM'd you. I was like, ooh, I think I need that. And so I went and got it. But let's talk about last night's episode. Let's talk about this season. Hannah, there's a lot going on with you, but Paige, there's some shit I want to talk about with you too, because I love Carl, and we're going to talk about that. Hannah, what is going on?
What is
with you and Luke? Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
I get it. He's hot. We all see that. But what happened? Like, can you explain your relationship with him? You said you talk to him every day. Like, I want to know where everything got confused.
Fucking emotional manipulation, man.
Yeah.
I actually have done a lot of reflecting on myself in the last couple of days. They do these charts of like the characters throughout the episode, and it just showed like a downward spiral for me. And I was like, you know what? That's what we are. But when I first met him, like, it was very clear that I had actually just gotten out of like a fucked up relationship. I love dating narcissists. And he was just like a simple man. I was like, he's not going to be able to manipulate me. And like, he's not the kind of guy that I would want to date necessarily, but he was so fun to hang out with. He was a really good kisser. And then at the end of the summer, he got super just like, I want you to meet my family and all this stuff. And we started actually getting an emotional connection because we weren't having sex. And it's crazy because, I mean, there's so many relationships that sex isn't involved, and sex can actually like ruin things. So it was like kind of nice that I had this guy who just wanted to spend all his time with me and talk to me all the time. But then it started to get kind of weird because he was a different kind of fuckboy, because he's just like wanting your time, like not your pussy.
Yeah.
That word sometimes, but I said
a rare breed, but they do exist.
They do exist. So I was like getting really confused because when people,
he's like an emotional slut. It's crazy.
He's an enigma. I'm like, this guy, it tries to be all nice, but on the inside, I don't know what he's doing.
I think I was like, on the inside, it's just yellow snow. That's all it is. But people were messaging me like, he obviously doesn't like you. He calls you burn dog, which I hate, by the way, which no girl should ever have to go through. Someone putting a dog at the end of their name. However, it's like,
oh, what up, burn dog?
I know when a guy doesn't like me. And like, if you're calling me all the time, it's like, then why are you calling me? Call your friends. And he was, saying his deepest fears and his biggest anxieties and his hopes and dreams. And I just became this kind of like funnel for him. And I got to the point, I started seeing other people because I'm like, this is weird. But then during quarantine, like, I just became like 2 to 3 times a day just kind of talking at me. And I'm like, you know what? I have this trust in this guy. We have something special. Whatever it is something special. So then when I walked in the house, I was excited. Like, I'm stuck in this house and there's a guy who's interested in me. Cool. Sorry, that's my cat. She's fighting with Butter, it's not about you right now.
Yeah.
Can you let mom express her emotions?
Yeah.
So,
he's like, I listened to you all day. I'm tired of it.
No, just like, say his name one more time. So when I got to the house, and he basically like pulled me aside and he's like, I have deep feelings for this girl, Sierra. And I'm like, you sick person, you sick sicko. So that's my little synopsis.
So I actually, like, people messaging you saying he obviously didn't like you. Like, I didn't take that away from it at all. I think he very much liked you, but there's something wrong with him where he can't fully let himself be with one person, or like he feels like because he's attracted to somebody else, he also needs to get a little piece of that. Like, he wants a little piece of everybody, but I do think he did like you. Unfortunately, like, he's not the guy for you, obviously, but I don't think he didn't not like you.
And you don't have to say unfortunately, it's fine. I think that he actually got to the point where like I knew that he would like have sex with someone and then FaceTime me after to like just want to talk to me all night. And it was like kind of flattering. But then he like said some quote on the show where he was like, Sierra's beautiful on the inside and out, and Hannah. And I was like, whoa.
Oh.
The amount of minutes I spent fucking talking to you when we know for a fact I'm the witty one in this.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That was fucked up. Yeah. I remember my reaction when he said that last night on the episode. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, call me ugly any day, but don't come for my inside.
Yeah.
My mom even called me after that. My mom was livid. Livid. She was like, not pretty on the inside? How dare he?
Yeah. But
the prettiest on the inside.
I love that we're psychoanalyzing it because I was like, this guy isn't made. Like, he has the emotional girlfriend who cares about him and then he could do whatever he wants. And I never could ever date him because he'd cheat on me. And I 100% knew that. But I do think I felt like he was playing me by coming into the house. And I think he actually knew that I'd been talking to someone too. And he wanted to kind of one-up me and be like, I'm really into this girl. And I'm like, don't use her to like make me look like shit. And it was just like this game that at first was fun. And then I'm like, I don't care if I lose. I just want to get out of it.
Well, and also, like, it's so easy to talk about. They're like, oh, well, there are other girls always, whatever. It's easy to ignore the other girls when they're like not in your face. Like, you can justify it. Like, she came in with Sierra, and like now you have to watch it. Like, the other stuff you can kind of like put away. You can like put in a different part of your brain. But Sierra was like right there. Like, and I'm like, do you think Sierra agreed to come to the house for the summer, but like didn't watch the last season? Like, I'm like, did you not watch the show? Like, clearly, I'm like, did you watch it and you're lying? Like, did you miss all of last season? Come on, girl. You had to have some idea. Like, she played there's a lot of dumb being played, I thought.
I also do think that you're going to see more about Sierra's real feelings moving forward about the situation.
Ooh, that's a little tease. Ooh.
But we like Sierra, right? Like, we like Sierra.
We love Sierra. And,
she seems awesome, which sucks, but like not also doesn't because she's awesome.
Well, look, also like if you're gonna like be flirting with another girl, like make her fucking amazing because it helps my ego. Like, make her a nurse who looks like Naomi Campbell.
Right. Correct. Saving the world, like a model. Paige, I think you said it too, right? Like she's just like a model, like saving the world. Like
Naomi Campbell, Mother Teresa, just like birth.
Yep.
Combined into one. Paige, I want to talk about your relationship on this season. Obviously, Perry wasn't there. You were spending 6 weeks without him. I want to know what is happening with you and Carl, because I have an attachment to you and Carl. I don't know why. I see this chemistry between you guys. I know you guys are friends, and Carl's kind of a fuckboy. He's been with everybody. Explain what happens between you and Perry, and then if Carl has anything to do with you this season, because I just have a feeling that there is.
So
a heavy question.
Way to really hit me.
We don't fuck around when it comes to our reality TV. We really don't.
No.
So going into the house, I was like a little bit, okay, I'm excited to like be by myself for 6 weeks. Like, it was a real test to see like if I wanted to stay with Perry for the rest of my life. Carl and I have always had this like great friendship where we've always had each other's backs. We've just connected on like dumb shit. Like, we like the same music. We like to go out, like all these like little things. And of course I am like a girl's girl and I will like spill my guts to Hannah. But sometimes you need that one guy friend where like you ask them something and they just like give it to you straight. And they're just like, this is where I think you're fucking up, or like, this is what I think about you. And Carl is very much that guy friend for me. And you'll see like throughout the season, like a lot of things happened where Carl and I just connected, and you see it more, even though like we've done that in past summers, you just kind of didn't see it as much. So I love Carl. I'll always love Carl. He was not a factor in my relationship with Perry at all, but I definitely got a lot closer to him this summer. I never say never, and I would like never shut the door on Carl, but right now, like, it's just, we're just better as friends, and, you know, he had nothing to do with me and Perry breaking up.
And do you think,
they're sad.
Do you think, no, but
I'm kind of happy at the same time though. Like, I get it. I love you guys, and I wouldn't
I get it.
ruin the relationship.
Yeah.
And if you saying that you would never shut the door fully is like all I need to hear. Maybe next summer, you guys like
literally never know. Yeah. I mean, I definitely thought about like the aesthetic of our wedding and like how gorgeous our children would be and like grow up to be like professional football players, but you know, who knows?
Also, watching him watch his mom get married, like I saw that little glance at him. Like, I don't know if the camera
so cute,
but it was cute.
I love, and I love how much he loves his mom. Like, that's a real thing for me. Like, if I can see that you're so nice to your mom, that means you're going to be so nice to your wife. So I remember stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like imagine meeting your soulmate and they're addicted to their mom.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
No.
like waiters. I hate that.
Yeah. No, but those, it's so funny because every girl has gone through the like seeing the red flags and ignoring them. So I think it's funny that we've put ourselves out there to be like, now all of America can see the red flags that we're missing. And it's so easy to be like, duh. And then you watch it and you're like, ugh. But yeah, if a guy like wants to gut punch his grandma, like he's not the one.
No, certainly not. Well, I feel like this whole lockdown, like kind of you guys like swapped. Like Hannah, now you are in a relationship. Like Paige is single. Like how? Like you guys kind of just were like, let's switch sides here.
Yeah.
Oh my
crazy
gosh!
I used to like live vicariously through Hannah, and I'm like, who are you matching with on Raya though? Like, what's going on? Send me screenshots. And now I call her in the morning and I'm just like, you have no idea what happened to me last night.
I literally go,
I get myself into.
I literally said, how's dating? How are your boys? And she was like, you're only as happy as your saddest child.
I felt like they're like my children. I'm like, they're all doing really well. Only as happy as your least happy one. And so like we're dealing with it.
But it's funny because this is like the second quarantine, like post summer house, but we had the pre-quarantine and I was like live with my parents. We like had 5 cats. I was just like talking to former football players on Raya and calling Paige when they weren't FaceTiming me back. And now suddenly Paige is totally in the same place. And I'm just like, should I redo my garden? Like, should I do CrossFit tonight?
I like made fondue the other day. I was like, I have to clear my whole bench and like start over.
I saw the fondue and I was like,
Fondue
I'm going to order whatever that is. Like you guys influence me so much on your Instagrams. I'm an avid watcher. You know, when there's people on Instagram that you just like fly through their stories. Like you don't really care what's going on.
Yeah.
I like watch yours closely. Not to sound creepy, but I'm like, I want to know what's going on with these two.
About you guys.
I would say you guys are kind of the Paige and Hannah of Barstool. Like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but wait, Paige, who's
I would say so.
fan?
I don't know. Which one do you guys think?
Wait, are you guys both Italian?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's why we all get
There's
along.
a lot of Italian energy, a lot of hand movements going on.
I was thinking before this, the same thing. I was like, I feel like we are like Hannah and Paige, but
I know, but
I don't know who would be who, because I will say that I connect with Paige on like the fashion angle, but my humor is more like Hannah. Like I could be raunchy, and like Fran is not really like that.
Yeah.
Fran and Paige both can pull off like the girl next door sweetness, where I feel like Rhea, we lost it
in public. Yep.
Yeah. Nobody.
No, we can
looks
pull
at
off
me and
being
says,
like, no, my dad, he'll get so mad at me. Like,
yeah. Nobody's believing that.
Don't ruin his life. Bye.
Yeah. Nobody's believing that for me. Nobody thinks I'm innocent. Everybody thinks I'm a fucking trash bag from Long Island. So like that's really it. Nobody's like, she's so cute. She's the girl next door.
Duchess of Long Island.
Yeah, no, they're like, that's the girl we just like fucking throw on the side of the street at the end of the day. So that it is what it is. That's how people feel about me.
Oh gosh.
You're working with your therapist about it. It's all good.
Yeah. No, I talk to her about these things. It's cool. But yeah, I see the dynamic, but it's so funny because there's so many different like.
But it also says a lot that you guys have been able to do your podcast for so long, because you actually have to authentically like the person.
Yeah.
And like you have chemistry with people, but it's like, guys, you know, I could have chemistry with so many guys because it's easy to have that initial banter, but to actually like care and like through business, like you guys are definitely inspirational, because like running a pod is more business than you think. And Paige and I we've had to have like business talks, and it's been like weird.
Sometimes we have to do math.
We were like, how do you divide this by 2? And Paige is like, damn it, I should have gone to that class.
Not me doing math. That would never happen. I let Fran handle that. But yeah, it's definitely because you see like, you know, we saw it with Alex and Sophia, like, you know, everyone thought that they were going to like be best friends forever. And then that blew up, or other podcasts where they stop. And like, Brandon and I just thankfully don't hate each other. Like, I feel like you just got to like not hate each other, because so many people end up hating each other for like You have to have like a
sibling. You have to have like a sibling relationship where like you can have a day where you're like, you know what, I need a break. This is like, let's just take our space, and then the next day you're good. You don't even you don't have to acknowledge anything. You're fine. You're like always good. Like I don't really care about like pissing each other off because we know that the next day like everything's gonna be fine.
It's like continue.
Sorry. Yeah.
Hannah, see, look how good we are.
Yeah.
Communication.
Hannah will call me some days and be like, okay, like before she says anything, she's like, okay, this is a business phone call. And so like, then we talk business and I'm like, okay, now can we talk about like who I'm fucking?
Yeah.
But it is important to deep down, just like siblings, like you could literally be like, I'm so fucking annoyed with you, but deep down know that like you really, really do have each other's backs. And I think it's because we survived Summer House together, where we went in as newbies and we were so scared. I remember being like, this could go terribly wrong. We really just were normal girls who'd never thought about going on reality TV, and we kind of had the opportunity. And there have been moments where I felt like I wanted Paige to have my back more. I felt like she felt like I didn't understand her. And we just survived it because at the end of the day, I think we make each other giggle.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Like Summer House, that's why I think I was kind of hesitant to watch Summer House in the beginning, because all my friends obsessed, like absolutely love it. They're like, Fran, what are you doing? I'm like, don't you guys feel like it's just watching like our friends on TV? Like our friends go to the Hampton. Like, don't you feel like this is kind of like just watching our group of friends like on TV? And they're like, yeah, that's why it's amazing. And I was like, I guess that's true. I guess that's a really good point. And now I get it.
It's like having drunk like home videos of yourself where you're just like, I hate myself. Like,
but you guys make the show. Like you really do. And I may be like gassing you up too much. Maybe I just like you guys so much that I say you guys make the show. But I really do think you guys bring like a humor and another element to it that they would be missing if you guys weren't on it.
Yeah. But sometimes things get really serious and Hannah and I are like, this is dumb. Like, let's like laugh in the corner.
Yeah, I think, Paige, you talked about, I forget where I saw this, where like Hannah hurt herself and everyone was like so worried and everyone was like freaking out, like, oh my God, is Hannah okay? And Paige was like, I really don't care. Like, do you want McDonald's? Like she's gonna be fine.
So concerned.
I broke my pinky and I was in the Southampton hospital for like 7 hours and Paige was like, wait, that's hilarious.
I was like, what an idiot.
Yeah.
Right. I hate when people take things too seriously. Like everything is like serious moment, like teaching moment. I'm just like, why do we have to do that? Like,
that's why I think the Housewives and Summer House is different. Like the Housewives are funny because of the lack of self-awareness. And I think like they want to be aspirational and show, you know, their lives are so great. And I think Paige and I, at first, like, I know Paige definitely was like, wait, people are going to see like some imperfections. And I think that's helped you grow. And I've always been just a mess. So I'm like, instead of going on a show and trying to like make people jealous, like, look, I'm on TV, I'm so cool. Being like, I'm going to fuck up. And you can watch how I try to solve my problems that you guys have probably had. Let's go on this journey together.
It's very nerve-wracking to just like have cameras around you in general, but like to be vulnerable and admit like, okay, this shit is like fucked up in my life, or like this is how I feel. And in the back of your head, knowing like there's going to be people that absolutely hate you. Like it's just a very nerve-wracking feeling.
Yeah. Right. And also that, like, Hannah, you said these are things that other people do all the time. These are things that other people go through all the time. And then they're commenting about how you're handling the situation. Meanwhile, they probably handle the situation in the same exact way, but they just think like they're better because they're a viewer and they just like can say whatever they want. How do you guys deal with the sort of, you know, criticism on social media? Because everybody gets it, whether you're like loved on a show or hated on a show, there's always going to be trolls. Do you guys get annoyed by that?
It's like, what is it called? Like a couch quarterback? Like when you're sitting on the couch, just stuffing your face, being like, that was a terrible throw. And it's like, I realize that a lot of stuff is projection, as in like, maybe I remind you of like your annoying cousin who you hate and like the way I laugh and then you tell me about it. But also I think like, look, it's like this tweet is stuck in my head, but like imagine meeting your soulmate and finding out they send mean DMs to celebrities on Twitter. Like what kind of human are you? So I try to think like what kind of person is sitting like actively trying to make me feel bad about my life? So instead of just immediately being like, they're right, I'm terrible. I mean, every now and then there's a valid point, right, Paige? Like you're like, they read my ass.
I'll get a mean DM and I'm like, damn, that was good.
And I'm also like, true. Like you're right.
I'm trying this new thing of actually not going on Twitter, because no matter how many great things people say about you, it's the one thing that'll stick with you and ruin like the next 2 hours of your day. So Twitter, I admit it. I'm trying to avoid it. Like, I'm not about to be like, I'm so strong.
Fran, tell them about the quality filter.
Twitter, like me and Twitter have an interest. Like Rhea laughs because Rhea shares more on Twitter than I do. Like I kind of just post like Twitter for the podcast, like stuff at work. Not really a lot of personal stuff. Like I say that for Instagram, but just because Twitter, like. There's always someone who's gonna be like, fuck you. Like you could post like your stuffed animal and they'd be like, that's the ugliest fucking stuffed animal I've ever seen. And you're like, what? Like, I love this stuffed animal. So I just like, I have every quality filter turned on. Like I have it. So like, I don't see your mention unless you follow me. Like I got like everything on because I'm like, I don't want. Yeah, I'm like, I don't care what you have. Like, I don't want to see what you have to say. So I'm just going to block it out.
I'm just on blocking. Like, I will, like, if you've said something mean, I'm blocking you. I don't.
See, I have like pride where I'm like, I don't even want to block them because I don't want them to think that it even hurt me.
That is like, me.
Okay. And then you also realize if you are
Paige, I'm you. I block. I'm like, block.
We're like, don't let them have that.
That's what, because Kris Jenner blocked me and I talk about it all the time. I'm like, yes. And I'm like, I think it's such, I'm like, Kris Jenner took, exactly. It's like Kris Jenner took the time out of her day to block me on Twitter. And by the way,
also
that was
when you were
14.
Yeah. Also, I was going to say, when you were like not on a podcast, like you were like a 14-year-old Twitter
14.
You were trolling Kris Jenner at 14. What did you say?
Well, listen, I fucking love Kris Jenner now, which is why this kind of upsets me, but also like excites me at the same time. I love Kris Jenner. I respect her so much. But when I was 14 and I would like watch the Kardashians with my parents, and my parents would be like, oh, wow, Kris Jenner, like exploiting her kids. And I'd be like, yeah, mom and dad, like I'm so with you. And then I realized that Kris Jenner was a fucking genius, like whatever. So I would literally tweet, like she was doing a meet and greet at like a mall near me, and I was like let's go protest near the mall, like just stupid shit. I wasn't being serious, but I was like down with Kris Jenner and like
cancel Kris Jenner. Now you're like free Kim.
Literally.
Now you're literally like, mom and dad, why didn't you exploit me more? Like now
I'm like my dad was like almost like a staged parent in some way, and I'm like, you should have been more like Kris Jenner. Like you should have put me out there more because you were just jealous that you weren't Kris Jenner. That's why you were shitting on her. So yeah, I'm blocked by Kris Jenner. From when I was 14, so it kills me to this day that I'm like, Kris Jenner is never going to see anything I do. And I'm also blocked by Food God.
Wow.
I think via Kris Jenner, but then I saw him in person at the Super Bowl party like 2 years ago, and I went up to him, I was like, you blocked me on Twitter, and then we like took a picture and he was fine with it. So yeah, so like you said, like the trolls, they get excited when they're blocked by, you know.
But it's a term.
We're like Kris Jenner.
Yeah, like my boyfriend blocks everybody. People are like, your boyfriend blocked me, and I was like, boundaries.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'll get DMs being like, can you tell Fran to unblock me?
I'm like, no.
Yeah, I get DMs going, Paige doesn't answer DMs, but you do sometimes. So tell Paige I said this, and I'm like, how do I become Paige's assistant?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get nervous opening DMs because I'm like, oh, what if this is like a mean one? I don't want to ruin my own day. But I want to answer girls that are like, where'd you get that shirt? You know, like I want to help them.
She's a girl's girl.
Yeah, I really am.
I have now I've reached a point where like I've answered a ton of people where now they're in like that different section of my messages. So like now that relationship has been opened. So like when they reply to a story and they're like, yay, can't wait for this. I'm like, yay, love you. Like, you know, like we talk.
The amount of people I say love you to on Instagram could be offensive.
I know.
I love you to anyone.
Same. Everyone. I say love you to my Uber drivers when I get out of the car. Like I'm like, love you, thank you. It almost doesn't mean anything anymore because I throw it out so frequently.
It's funny though, with friends in person, there is like a when do you drop the love? And you know, I've done it before too early because I just had like, so much fun like getting coffee. I'm like, love you. And they didn't say it back. And like that shit hurts more than like getting gaslit by Luke, you know?
Yeah.
It's almost like, you know, it's like the phone call thing. When you hang up with a friend, there's a lot of friends where I hang up where I'm like, love you, bye. And then if they don't say love you, I'm almost like, what did I do wrong? And do they not want to be my friend anymore?
Yeah. I had a guy friend who like every time we would get off the phone, I'd be like, okay, love you, bye. And then like it kind of took a little turn where we weren't just friends anymore. And I kept doing it because it was just natural. And he called me one day and goes, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to need you to stop saying that at the end of the phone call. And I was like, oh my, I was so embarrassed.
I have like a legit test if you don't know if a guy is straight or gay, is at the end of like like just hanging out, you just go, okay, love you, bye. And if he goes, love you, he's not straight. But if he looks at you like you're fucking crazy.
So true. So true. That's a great test. I'm going to use that from now on. That's a good one.
I also had an ex-boyfriend who accidentally, like I was going on a flight and he just was like, it was like 4 months in. So it could have been a time. And he was just like, love you. And I looked at him and he looked at me and he was petrified. And I was just like, it's okay. I get it. And he texted me and he's like, I'm sorry. That was weird. And I was just like, wait, so you don't love me?
What's happening?
Have you guys ever not said it back to somebody who said it to you first? I feel like that was a moment, but I feel like I've always said I love you back.
Ooh, not first, but I've had like exes come back and say like, I love you or like all this stuff. And I've not said it back. I'm like, thank you. I get it. And
it depends if it's during sex or not.
True. Good point.
Because that doesn't count. I've had it where a guy was like kind of said it, but like in a joking way. And I was like, no, you're going to hurt me.
I don't even think my boyfriend has told me he's loved me during sex now that I just remembered that.
I don't think anyone ever told me that.
Wait a second. Is that something I should start a fight about after this?
100%. Send a text ASAP. Be like, how come guys are out here saying they love people during sex and you haven't even fucking, like, you just choked me?
It's been 4 years and you haven't even said I love you?
You're like, wait, guys are supposed to say they love you eventually? But like, what do you think about those guy friends who are straight, like Luke, who are always going like, I love you?
It's weird. Like honestly, weird. It's weird.
I do have one guy friend that does it, but he says it in a way that's like, it's like, one, he's always very drunk, and two, it's like, I love you, friend. Like it's not like, you know,
that's
like, it's very like uncle vibes,
right?
Uncle
totally. It's not like, Fran, I love you so much. You're my best friend ever. Like it's like, I love you, Fran. Like
uncle vibes.
There's something with your guy friends who do that are like, I just like fuck with you. I love you, and I feel like that's more endearing because I'm like, oh my god, I'm in with the boys. Like they think that I'm one of them. Like I've tricked them.
That's like when your boyfriend's friends start saying it to you too, and you're like, fuck yeah. Like you're like are all out, and they're like, Fran, we love you. Like
when a guy says I'm hot, when a guy says I'm hot, I feel nothing. When a guy says I want to fuck you, I literally feel nothing. They can say that to anyone. Guys are attracted to so many fucking things, but when a guy is like, I really like love you, or I fuck with you, or I like love talking to you, and that's how I ended up in my debacle. And we've come full circle.
we have come full circle. We have kept you guys over.
Wait, but before we let them go, I know we've been going over, but it's Friday. Are you guys like busy or something?
No, we're not counting for the weekend. We have nothing to do.
I want to go through each member of the summer house and tell me where you. Yeah, I am actually, because I watched Watch What Happens Live last night with Lindsay, and she said that she would never talk shit on a podcast. So I said, I'm going to make them talk shit on the podcast.
So you have to make us.
And also, Paige, did you see Matt James said that he would kiss you or whatever it was because of your eyes?
Good eyes.
Died. Okay, so those are some DMs that I opened. Everyone was like, oh my God. I was like, no, I'm screaming inside, screaming.
Yeah, I was happy for you. I was like, yes.
I would 1000% kiss him back. So
yeah, and
honestly, let's see. There's a chance he's single. We don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But
if he's single, we'll set it up. No joke.
And if
I
he's
think
not
you guys would be a
single,
good
it
match.
will be over once the contract ends.
yeah.
True. Okay, let's go through every person. All right. Let's.
Wait,
let's
what are we
start.
saying about that? Where
Where do you guys? Yeah. Where do you stand with them?
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Carl.
We love.
I talked to Carl for like 4 hours yesterday.
Love that. Keep that going. Keep talking to him for 4 hours every day. Love
We're
it.
great with Carl.
Kyle and Amanda.
Kyle and Amanda, I was at their apartment last night.
Yeah.
Phoebe's like best friends with all of them. Hannah's like, we're good.
No, I'm great with Amanda and Kyle. You never really know, but I think I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like
Lindsay.
the buffer for everyone. And
Paige is the gateway keeper. Like,
Lindsay.
Lindsay, I'm good with Lindsay. Hannah, are you good with Lindsay?
I think I'm good with Lindsay.
It's not confident, but you think you are.
Like Lindsay and I are either like great or terrible, and it goes back and forth, so I forget. We could be great or terrible. I don't remember. I think we're good. I'm good with her. Lindsay, I don't have beef with you right now.
Luke.
Oh, I don't speak to him.
Yeah, Hannah doesn't speak to Luke. Luke sends me some crazy text messages that are paragraphs and paragraphs. And I'm going to be honest, I skim and then I'm like, what?
Are they about Hannah? What are they about?
It could literally be about anything. He tries to send like inspirational things, I think, to me sometimes. He's just like, you're doing great. Like,
guys, I don't understand a single, like, I think I'm pretty good at reading people. I don't get him at all.
Man, I was good at reading people. I'm a very intuitive, empathic person. Someone told me that one day.
Same. Haven't we all heard that?
I was like, that's me.
Yeah.
So everyone's like,
someone told me that and I was like, you know what? You're a good person. I can tell.
I sat down with a medium once, and as soon as I sat down, she was like, you have great energy. And now forever I walk around believing I have awesome energy. I'm like, you have great energy.
I
you do.
Crying once and I was like, are you an empath? Is that why you're crying? I just feel so many things.
Yep. I don't think there's anybody else I really care about to mention. You guys said you were good with Sierra.
There's Danielle.
Oh,
There's
Danielle.
other people in the house.
There is, but like I said, not like prominent enough. Like Danielle is always just like a side character, I feel, you know?
Yeah, Danielle.
She's Lindsay's best friend.
Yeah, Lindsay's best friend.
I hate to use the M word, but
yeah.
I'm waiting.
I was just kidding. I was going to say minion. Because I just need to get in trouble at all times.
No, I was like, well,
Joe, calm down.
Like the M word, like as if we would automatically assume minion.
Like, I was like, M. All three of us were like, what the fuck is she talking
about? You guys were looking at each other like, am I supposed to know?
Guys, I'm really sorry about my friend. Like, it's weird, but she's my friend.
I was like, I could just keep it, make them all feel like they should know.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Who else? Wait, who was the girl on last season? I forget her name.
Jules.
Do you guys still talk to Jules?
Yeah, like we're good with Jules. I'll DM her.
I actually tried to set Jules up with one of my guy friends the other day to go to brunch, but she canceled on us.
Oh.
But I talk to her sometimes,
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear because I was worried about Jules for a little bit.
Jules is good. I think she's doing good.
Yeah. We don't even need to get like the Lindsay Steven dynamic. Like we know that that's over. Like Lindsay said it on Watch What Happens Live, but like
I didn't love Steven.
The amount that I like, it's tough because there's part of me that's like, I really don't care about this, but there's also a part of me watching it where I'm like, this is just fantastic. You can't look away. When she's like, where's my sandwiches?
The thing is, they're such opposite personalities that it's sometimes like, you're like, do we need to help Steven? Like, is he okay? Yeah. And then it's sometimes you're like, oh, I totally get where Lindsay's coming from. Like, how could he do that? But it's a crazy dynamic and it is fun to watch.
Never in my life
it
did I
is.
think
It is.
that like saying the word sandwich in the house was ever going to be triggering. And I was like, I'm going to make lunch. Anyone hungry? Like I felt like I couldn't say sandwiches.
It's like pasta with the Vanderpump Rules cast.
Yeah.
Which are two sacred things, sandwiches and pasta, that
Yeah.
you should never have, turned bad.
Yep. Well, guys, thank you really for coming and talking to us. Hannah, I will be using the meme of you stirring the food, like fucking stewing on the inside, and just be like,
It was so funny because they put
was
me as
so
a head
good.
chef, and they cut this out, but multiple times I was like, I studied in France for 6 years with this bullshit.
And it was great.
I could see the passion. I could see it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I will be in both of your DMs because I think we all need to hang out. I can't wait to get.
Can we get a picture of both of us in our bucket hats?
Yes, I was just gonna say once my hat comes,
Paige, you're in the city, right? Like you're here. Like okay, so let's all hang out. Hannah,
Dinner,
you can come if you want. Like I know you don't. Yeah.
I'll ask my boyfriend if I can.
Yep.
Let you out of the cage.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds good.
And
thank you guys.
We'll set it up. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Everybody tune into Summer House Thursday nights 9 p.m. Eastern time. Also check out their podcast, Giggly Squad, which is hilarious. You guys talk about every topic. You also cover some pop culture, front page news, all good stuff. Love you guys. See, I just did love you in there. And I didn't even know if you were ready for that, but I do love you guys. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Thanks, guys. All right, that wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. We hope you guys enjoyed the Bachelor recap and our two new besties, Hannah and Paige. We will be back on Friday to talk more pop culture. I don't know where that was going. Let me restart.
More popular
culture.
You know what? Just leave that in. I want to end on that note. Love you guys. Bye.